you saw by that opening, this thing is working fantastically. So just to give you guys a quick rundown of things that have happened, I ran it for a little bit and realized I forgot one key important thing and actually just jumped right into it and forgot to record entirely. But I forgot to attach this. And you would be amazed how long it took me to figure this thing out. I was looking at it, and most things normally make sense to me, but that little crooked hopper minecart, it wasn't working for me. I was like, do I need to put it on like a sideways rail system and then jam a slab into it to pin it in its place? It's a lot simpler than that. I hope I can help out everyone's life with it. You put it onto the rail, and what I did was I just set up a shulker box next to it, and you just push it, and it pushes it just far enough off to where it's now touching this minecart here, so it can transfer items. It's working off of a comparator that basically uses this hopper minecart. If I can access it, come on. It uses it as its own little item sorter. This thing stocks it up. Once it's full all the way, it allows a gap through. And this system here, there is a hopper minecart in the center that distributes to all 4 of these. You can simply make that happen by a shulker box to push the minecart in between 2, and then another shulker box opening to push it in between all 4. Pretty simple stuff. And yeah, that distributes it, and some goes to the trash, and some goes into this little storage system here. And basically, the reason this was so important is, aside from getting rid of the poppies, it's acting as a way of keeping this entire thing from going into lazy chunks. I'm not exactly sure why that makes such a big difference when your person is standing here, but all I know is it wasn't working optimally, and the second I got this finally put in, it started working again. So, the numbers. I started this farm at roughly 10 o'clock at night. That's when I can say I finished this farm finally. That being said, the entire farm takes 6 hours to reset, so roughly at this time, 7 o'clock in the morning, we're looking at about 9 hours, so 3 hours working at optimal and 6 hours running normal. Full. Well, almost full. That's ridiculous. So I'm gonna do something blasphemous, especially for a farm like this that takes 6 hours to reset. But what I want to accomplish in today's episode is to just finish this project to where I don't have to worry about it anymore. I've got a concept. What I want to do is move all of the storage up to here where a person can AFK, and I want to add about 10 rows of chests on each side with 3 each. So that'll be what, 60 double chests? And then one of those rows I want to be bulk storage, like the one that we have set up back at our base. And that's where I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to link the two together, because I do want it to fill up the regular chests before it gets anywhere like that. So yeah, that's pretty much summing it up. And then to go along with the iron farm, what I think would be cool... Oh no, no. Oh no, no. Why are you on fire? Oh. Okay, so what I think would be cool is for giant iron farm designs like that, the popular name going for them are satellites, because they look like a satellite. They got 2 giant sections on all sides. That being said, what does iron lend itself to more than anything, in my opinion? It would be futuristic, like something spaceship themed. So what I want to go with is I want to gather us up some quartz, some iron, some andesite, and some white glass. I think that's going to be our build palette for it, and I've got an idea for how to make this look cool, but also be very functional at the same time. Okay, so I've got most everything that I think I need, but to be fair, I've got one concern, and it's that in order to make this work, I'm going to have to, it's not even a risk, it's going to shut this entire thing down. So when I built this, I didn't expect it to happen, but it makes sense that when I put in this wall here, it bud powered these pistons somehow and started the system. Now, that's not a huge problem. The huge problem comes in these. I wasn't thinking about design when I put these together. These on both corners are a crucial part of this entire thing. So I'm worried I'm going to break something. But, you know what? I mean, I don't know. Alright, whatever. Let's turn it off properly. Lag City. Holy cow. What did I do? What did I do? Okay. I think I turned the entire thing off. Slowly, all of the villages should break. Whew, that hurts. Right here, it's set to resetting. Nice. So what I want to do, right out the gate, break this, put that there, grab some dust and get it in. For here, oh, and then for these sections, let's go ahead and get this done too. I want chiseled, and I thought I had pillars. Did I not make any pillars? Alright, let's see. Let's throw that on the ground. That should be good enough to start. So what I want to do is pillars on their side in here, and then when these come together, go with a chiseled in the middle to tie them together. So I think that needs to happen. We'll go ahead and put a pillar on top of here, and then we'll put some regular quartz right here. That'll kind of keep us from running into any bud power incidents. Same thing over here. Regular, pillar, regular. We shouldn't have to worry about anything. And let's throw some quartz on the ground over here. So breaking this has me worried, but let's go ahead and do it. Let's do that there. Let's do that there. Alright. So I'm gonna hop on to the camera account to see if I fully broke this. But my hope is that me doing that has just started the clock right here. And it should... That shouldn't be in there. Is there anything in these? Should be there? No. Okay. So I'm going to hop into the camera account, see if everything's opening up the way that it should. Okay. So what you're looking at here is how this thing builds its villages. Pretty much anytime this thing turns off, it pushes all of the stone bricks over the glass, breaking all sky access to any of the villages. And then over the course of time, I think it should be this one next, it will slowly have the power to it fall off, pulling this back, revealing the village, moving the villagers in just the right way to reestablish the village, and then it will move over to here, pull this back, and start the whole process over again. And over the course of 6 hours, this entire thing will turn into something where all of the glass itself is exposed. There we go. Okay, so I've only got one concern, and it's the fact that I've still actually seen some iron golems dropping down into here. So I'm not sure if I potentially restarted the system too fast, but I mean, we already did it, so we might as well live with it. So let's hop back into building. Alright, so the first place I want to start, just because in my opinion it is definitely the most important, is the floor. Once we have the floor complete, we'll at least know where we stand on everything else. I like the andesite because I feel like it contrasts the iron very well, and I feel like the use of iron in the floor, because we're not going to be using it too much throughout the rest of this, is just, it's nice to have, seeing as it's all being a part of this. The other thing that I think I want to work on first is what I do with my my crafting bench. I picked it up. So what I want to do is keep this viewable. I feel like getting rid of it is gonna do a disservice to it. Out of sight, out of mind really isn't a good way to kind of show off something that you're proud of. And the other thing that I think needs to be added, or more or less changed, more than added, is we need to move these 2 lamps up to here. On the side, away from the switch, they're not doing us any good. So I feel like that's definitely something that needs to happen. So let me see if I can figure out a way to make this work, and then I'll catch back up to you once I kind of have an idea of where this is going to head. So my thought behind this is the way that this works is this torch can't move. It powers this, locking it from constantly doing the back and forths once it's fully set up. This torch can move, and this doesn't have to be a lantern though. So what I think I want to do is go ahead and get a block behind here, and honestly go ahead and just flatline that. But this is probably a horrible idea while this is working. Let's do something like that. I don't think this is gonna bud power anything, but if it does, we learned our lesson, we reset it, and we move on from there. Let's boom boom. Oh, what did I just do? Well, that's fixed, but I have no clue why my mouse just like straight up demolished through that like that. Let's see, so the other thought is if we hit these from the top, because we want to get our redstone wire as far out of the way as possible. And what we can do is send a repeater signal into that, which will then send the power down onto the dust and into the lantern. Okay, so let's work on this one first. I think if we go ahead and invert the signal right here, right? Let's get rid of that and go ahead and put the torch here. Okay. We can't do it with dust, so what we're gonna have to do, unless someone has a better idea, I didn't break anything else, did I? No. Is put a repeater signal into here. I think that's going to be the primary framework from how we're gonna line that up, though, because what we'll do... Ooh. Okay. So we'll do this instead. Step it up here. No, we can't go next to that redstone dust, so we need to keep out here. Right? And stretch to right here. Okay, it looks a little bit wonkier than I'd hoped for, but let's go ahead and give it a go. So that is off, this is on. Good. So the next thing that I want to do is break this and replace it for a normal block, doesn't matter what block. And ooh, okay, that is beautiful, so much better. Okay, so what I ended up doing instead, what I was doing was increasing the pulse around here, but that would have broken whenever the pulse, or whenever the signal got below a certain point. It shouldn't ever get below this point, which now means that this pulse reaches the final point, and they're both on the same tick delay, kind of. They're off by 1. But we now have the signal out the front. So let's try our best to get the walls up and then work on a roofing structure. This is already looking 100 times better than it was before. So I kind of opted to mimic the pattern that I put up here in the front, and then kept the iron in on these side pillars. I think it's a nice way of tying the floor in, but not overwhelming it at the same time. And it's also, I'm not a big fan of the giant wall of chests design, so I feel like a lump of 5 is to the point where it doesn't feel obnoxious at that point. So the next part that I think needs to happen is sculpting the roof. So let's start right here. Now, can I put an upside down stair here? Yes, I can. Okay. So from there, I want to come out 1, and then I think I want to slab it like so. Okay, and that's the center. So let's hop over here. Oh, okay. Let's do the same thing stair, solid block. How do we feel about that shape? It feels a little short, but I don't know how. Like, I don't want a vaulted ceiling either. I think it feels very much the way I would envision a spaceship hole looking. Okay, that's my ladder hole. Let's stick with it and see how we feel about it once we've got it kind of played in a little more. Now that I'm seeing it not just as a solo piece, I think it looks good. I think this iron block here gives some depth too. The downside is I just missed it because RY44 slept through it. But I think what it's missing is lights in the ceiling. Now, these are going to give us more light than we need. So what I'm thinking is end rods to make like the fluorescent looking tube design. And we can fit a nice tube onto each side and have these kind of be the connecting factor between them. And then the other thought is we need to figure out exactly how we're going to tie all this together. I'd assume... Did I actually run out of those? Let's see. I think I need 2 more. So what I think is a good plan of action is going to be to go ahead and put some chiseled on both corners here. And then put some pillars right on top of those. So it's going to look a little bit different. I forgot that in order to see vines, I was on the old texture pack, so the entire thing kind of looks the same but different. I didn't realize how much chiseled quartz had changed. I still like it. Not 100% sold on this. But I don't know. I don't think a wall of solid white would look good either. And at least it blends to where the eyes are at. I'm going to leave it in for a minute, but in the comments, let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know if you guys have an idea of how to make that look better. And I do think that the fluorescents above look fantastic. And altogether, I think this is actually a really cool build. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Now that the inside is done, you can tell that something's happened here. And it might adjust my nether portal because I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that just yet. But that's something that we'll have to address later. Update. I've rerouted our iron stream. I hijacked it. It's no longer going into here. It takes the bend, has to go down 1 because of our redstone line. And then, did I miss a spot? Why is there water pouring out? Okay, I'll figure that out. But it then goes into this water elevator, which is something that I love about 1.13. No more need for dropper vaders in the standard sense. I'm not going to say no more need in general, but in the standard sense, no more need. And then once you come up here, it goes back to being pretty standard. Everything that I had there before, it'll bump into a chest. It'll then take the turn, slightly be over the hoppers, and go all the way around. Benefits. Seeing as this is an iron farm and we've already sorted out the poppies, aside from the occasional monster falling in to the kill chamber, there's really no need for a sorter, so I'm not going to bother with it. What we have left now, though, is figuring out how we're going to set up a single module of a bulk sorter. What do you guys think? So, here's kind of the theory behind it. Since this one doesn't have the sorter on it and also doesn't have the shulker distribution, overall, this was a pretty easy thing to put together. It's really just a shulker loader. And what I'm probably going to do to save some time is load up some chests on the back with a whole bunch of shulkers in it. I just haven't quite thought about the fact of refilling it, because I have a feeling that if it reaches the shulker point of the system, those shulkers are going to go missing. So that's something that's to be kind of figured out. We lucked out in the fact that this section right here was a comparator, and this was blank on the last one, because it was the light that let you know what was going on. So what I did instead was use this to our advantage to curve it away. Now, I was going to just rocket it up, bring it straight in, but there's repeaters there, and I probably could have done it here, but I couldn't run a water stream across this because of that repeater. So the option was to take it all the way around the corner and bring it up, around, and then I'm just hoping that it's going to launch across here. And if this ever fills up, this is something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on. If this fills up, I'm curious if it gets stuck on the repeater here and doesn't reach the cactus. But in order for that to happen, we're going to have to AFK for a very, very long time. And to be fair, filling this up entirely for the sake of at least just my time on this series is probably going to be more than enough. We're probably going to use a lot of iron for our sorting system, but from there it's going to be pretty standard hopper uses, pretty standard piston usage, and I think we're going to be good. Oh, and if you peek just through there, that's what I was talking about. That's why I was on the old texture pack. You get the weird glitch block pattern with the vines for the latest beta for texture packs, or for the default. So we've got everything moved over. We cleaned up most of the stuff down as well. And so we're currently looking at 9 full, well, almost full chests of iron already. So what I'm going to do, unfortunately, I think this is going to be it for today's episode, because I want to make the most out of this, and I can't make the most out of it and work on projects at the same time, because it'll unload, and that would be unfortunate. So I'm going to AFK here for, I'm hoping, a day, maybe even 2, to see how much we can get out of this. But if you enjoyed this episode, I know this episode has been all over the place. Like, for my episodes, this is a very choppy episode, just kind of progress updates as we go. Let me know. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you want to see what's to come with what we're going to do with all this iron in the future, please feel free to subscribe. And as always, I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you guys in the next one.